in a broken wasteland. Come to my fire.
All right, metalheads, we are being joined this week, and thank you all for tuning in each and every week to the Metal Forge. My name is Mark Jackson, and I am your host. With me today on a special day, because by the time this drops, this will be Friday the 28th, which is album release day for these two awesome people, Adam and Stacy from Savage Master. Oh, hi, how's it going?
Oh,
Oh my gosh, it's so awesome. Was that the copy that you were going to bring to me a couple weeks ago?
Yes.
Then I inadvertently had band practice at 2
Out
hours.
of the box.
Oh my gosh, dude.
I know,
It looks
I know.
amazing. Obviously, you know, we've known each other for a while now. I mean, shit. I think I met you the first time at Phoenix Hill Tavern. It was the Exodus show.
Oh, wow, yeah. That's what
So it's been probably close to 15 years now because Overload was playing that show. Rad deal. So many awesome bands like Bonded by Blood, Malevolent Creation, Holy Grail on that tour. And here we are now, 15 years later, the 5th Savage Master album. Fucking, what is up? How are you all? It's been a minute since you've been on the Metal Forge.
it's been quite some time.
yeah.
It has. But you've been keeping busy. I mean, it seems like you've
Yeah.
been getting every
I
great
can,
metal band.
I can hardly hear
on.
you. The mic, I can.
Maybe that's a little better.
Oh yeah,
That
there
better?
we go.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Okay.
Tons better. Tons
No,
better.
excellent. Yeah, I was
So-
going to say, it looks like you've been super busy with pretty much every good metal band that's out there.
Well, I mean, you all have too. I mean, you all have been crazy in the last, since starting. I mean, the last time you were here, Myth, Magic, and Steel was just about to drop. So we're talking 2019.
Yeah. Yeah,
Because
that's
it was at the
pre-COVID.
radio station, and then the week it dropped, I remember playing the full side of one on there, and just like the trajectory you all hit since even then has been through the fucking roof to me, dude. Like, congratulations and fucking thank you all for coming in.
Really,
Well,
it's
thank you for having us.
So how's 2025 looking for you guys? How are you all doing so far? I mean, I know you all were just in Houston for Hell's Heroes.
just did Hell's Heroes. That was fantastic. Absolutely amazing.
Yeah, it's an
Absolutely.
incredible fest.
Incredible fest. Great guy puts it on, Christian Larson. Great staff. Everything about
Yeah.
it is well run, well done.
Very
It was really
professional.
great. Of course, we got this album about to drop. That's what we're all really here for and what we're all about right now. Otherwise, you know, the year's shaping up to just be another solid year of supporting that album.
Yeah. And we
Definitely.
on the release date,
Yeah. Next
2
week,
minutes to Tulsa.
that's right.
Yeah, absolutely. And
Another
such
just
a killer
amazing
lineup
fest.
with that, with like Liege
Yeah.
Lord and Tower Hill even playing that show. And
Absolutely.
I
Yeah.
love those dudes. I love Tower Hill.
Brian Horton, great guy. Dude that put
Yes.
it on, Brian, absolutely amazing person.
For sure. I've been following him for the last couple of years on Instagram. I really want to get out to that show. And you know, one of these days I'm going to book the week long vacation and do it where I go to Hell's
Yeah.
Heroes
Yeah,
in
man.
Tulsa and do the
Cool that
thing.
they're back to back like that.
It totally is. So with the new album, tell me about it. You've got a killer crew now. You've always had a killer crew on the albums, but with you and Stacy and John, Nick, and River, dude. Like, tell me about it. It had to be an awesome experience.
Man, it was a real growing experience for the band bringing those guys in
Sure.
because we'd had sort of similar lineups for some time with a few people floating in and out. But bringing Nick on was the first big jump in I would say quality control, whereas before we were just trying to get it done. But when Nick came to the band, there became more of a focus on what we could do with the band, how far we could take it, what we could do live. His playing enabled us to take things a bit further. and his ability to perform like he does. He's such a
Yeah.
great performer
Sure.
that really that card in our sleeve right there really took it up a notch. And then moving, we had Julian Fried was our guitar player for a rhythm guitar player for a while. Also great, good stage performer.
Absolutely.
Moving on to he's moved on to a band. I can't mention it right now because it's not been exposed,
Ooh.
but something big has come for him. So that's wonderful. And
I
we're
think
very
I'm going to
proud of
have to
him for
reach
that.
out to
Yeah.
the shredder.
All will be revealed very soon, I believe. But he's doing really good. But so we moved to River. We got River to come in, as you know, is just an incredibly
Completely.
talented player, performer, and a great guy.
Sure. He is in the Louisville scene. He's probably one of the biggest sweethearts.
Oh my God, yeah. And what a just a crazy player.
Oh
Unbelievable
yeah.
player. I mean, he
Unbelievable.
can just pick it up so fast. So that that alone, just bringing on those guys, I think brought the band up a notch just right out of the gate. And then the
Sure.
creative level also came up with that because then we found ourselves with everybody able to write, which is something we never had before. It was on the
Okay.
writing duties primarily were on me, and the lyrics,
Right.
was split that lyrics with Stacy. But the first four albums, really the first three albums, I would say are solid, pretty much all me writing with
Sure.
very little contribution from the rest of the guys in the band. But um, Hunt at Night, we had John wrote the song Hunt at Night.
Mhm.
He wrote the music to it, and then I wrote the lyrics over it. So that was the beginning of us working as more of a team. Um, but with those guys, suddenly we found ourselves with a much more creative group and a much more cohesive and positive musical element. So I think that really changed things. I can't understate how much that lineup affected how that album turned out.
For sure.
Yeah.
And you talk about I'm sorry, Stacy, go ahead. What were you going to
No,
say?
oh no. Well, I was just gonna say, yeah, that's true. And I think River had maybe not even played a show with us before he was contributing a song already. So I mean, those both of those guys just have such fire and creativity. And I also want to mention the studio we recorded at Chip Tooth in Fort Wayne, Indiana. That was a
Yeah,
good experience as well.
that also helped. The kind of home-based studio kind of situation where everyone could actually relax and focus without such a stress. Sometimes you're in the studio and it's really, rather stressful. I mean, don't get me wrong, this was still very stressful
Well,
because
Sure.
you've got to get it done, and it's got to
Yeah.
be right. But it changed things. The Dan and his wife were so good to us, and of course he tracked it wonderfully, um, and made it much more easy also for us to be creative within the studio, which is
and he
something.
understood what we were trying to do. And
Yeah,
so that really helps too.
that's something that we hadn't really had before. Usually we would have to go in and just bang it out. Like that was the way it is. But we had some breathing room to be creative in there, make some changes, adapt some things, think about it. He allowed us to do that more than any other studio we've ever been
That's amazing because, I mean, I play as well, and I know the studio gig just as well as anybody else. I've been doing it for 30 years at this point in my life. And it's crazy because what you just said there is you had the best still a stressful but still the best experience you had at a studio because of being able to breathe a little bit.
in. Yeah,
And I think
work
that's
creatively,
something,
actually.
yeah, and it helps creatively because
Yeah,
you're not as have to get in, pound it out, get it done.
yeah,
Yeah.
And that play, don't get me wrong, that has its place when it's designed for that,
yeah.
like super raw recordings, uh that
That's a
it
great example of just getting it done.
exactly. There's another one of just getting it done. But when you have that thing, and that's what I've always liked about the documentary style, like things like classic albums, is seeing when
Oh
these
yeah,
bands have those experiences, like when Judas Priest did British Steel, and
yeah,
just hearing the stories of like smashing the fucking trays of silverware on the floor,
yeah.
just for the
The
creativity.
the Deep Purple Machine Head one is just the same. The explanations of how they actually done that and how they were able to actually work on the songs in studio is because some engineers, we were working with an engineer, not a producer. So some engineers just want you to get it done.
Sure.
They just want you to get it done so they can get it over with. And Dan was definitely more in the vein of definitely want to get it done, but he would also have suggestions or ask our opinions about things, about what could nuances about what might be able to be changed or perfected a little bit more in each take, things like that. And those things really make a big difference. And it also, I think, it chills you out creatively and personally when you know the person behind the desk really cares about what they're doing,
Sure.
and they're using their actual ear to make your music better. It's not just a job.
Yes. And when somebody, and I do think that when you can get somebody on board that actually likes what they're doing, and because so many people, like on the other end of, how it works with the other end of like the music thing, it's all a paycheck at some point.
Yeah, exactly.
Especially if that's what you're dedicating your life to doing, and that is how you make your money. It is just a paycheck to, engineer albums and whatever else,
Right.
and it be a very sterile, sanitized process, especially in like, you know modern popular music, I guess.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So with this, y'all are about to also go on tour with Sanhedrin in the UK, for the what is it, the Dangerous Lightning tour?
And just like, yeah.
Dude, that is amazing. I love those three. They are super super sweet people. I had them host. I hosted them for Big Goddamn Metal Show 2 last year, and actually, it, I'm glad you all are going out together because
Oh yeah.
I think you all complement each other so well.
Yeah, I agree. We did a run with them 2 years ago,
I think it was just a year.
a year or so ago, and it was us, Sanhedrin, and Traveler.
Yeah,
All great bands, all great people, and that we forged a real friendship with Sanhedrin. Like I couldn't even believe it. Like some of our best band friends out there, probably.
sure.
So it was,
No,
as soon as there was
absolutely.
any opportunity for us to go back out with them, we were totally happy to do that,
Hell
especially
yeah.
through the EU, because that'll be just the EU will be a totally different adventure for all of us.
And it's cool too because when you can tour with friends, it makes it so much easier
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
because you know everybody's helping each other out.
Oh, big time. And we need help. I tell you, we need help. We need all the help we can
Of course, we
get.
all need help. But
But yeah, it's great.
I do want to say something about this, and you're kind of responsible for it, Adam.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
This is so you brought High Spirits to town
Yep.
years and years and years ago. And at that point in my life, I was still chasing like the 80s thrash metal thing and didn't really know about a lot of these bands like Night Demon and High Spirits and
Right.
Midnight and bands like that. And then after meeting you, just seeing some of these other bands that you had brought to town in Louisville, Lexington, wherever, and the shows like that you were playing, it really turned me on to another scene of music.
Oh wow.
And I appreciate you for that. And that I've always looked up to you for that as well. So that's
I
like
really
real
appreciate
talk
that.
here from a bro, man. That like complete you have no idea how much your influence shaped this show.
Oh, that's incredible to hear, man. I really appreciate that.
I
I really
mean,
do.
so now that
Seriously,
you're
that's
here
very kind.
again, finally, um, but no, so you got to record the so aside from that, we're gonna go back to the album talk here. So recording the album, when you're working with just an engineer and you're self-producing, and you do have obviously somebody to report to with the label.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And have you ever turned in anything that the label was kind of like, are you sure?
Um, not on
I,
this one. Now, when we turned in
Okay.
originally, when we originally turned in, I think it was Myth, Magic, and Steel. When we first turned in Myth, Magic, and Steel, Tim, the guy who runs Shadow
Hmm.
Kingdom, he had some notes of what he'd like to hear changed in the mix. Now that did happen. He's
Okay.
never said I don't want this song on the album or anything like that. Um, and then on the next one, Those at 100 Night, I don't think he gave me any notes. I think he was happy with that one. And so that one led to this one. He gave me no notes. We turned it in, and he was happy with it right out of the gate. But
Honestly,
we go ahead. Yeah.
no, no. So no, finish.
I was going to say a lot of that is the guy who mixed and mastered it, Arthur Risk,
Sure.
is basically a genius. So you you turn this thing over. We tracked it in at Chip Tooth, and then we sent him the pieces. And so he had everything there, all the different little requests he made for things he needed. He had them in front of him, and he did his magic on it. It took quite some time, a few months, for us to get a mix back from him, which was kind of odd and weird from our perspective because we've always been like four on the floor, get it done type band where we're cranking them out and getting it done. But with this one, we did let it set. He just worked a magic on it, on the sound. It already sounded great from the tracking, but make no mistake, the mixing and mastering is where it really turned into the thing that it is.
Sure.
And
And
it, and it,
I go ahead, Stacy.
oh, and we were impressed with the way he doesn't just have like this kind of,
Cookie cutter.
yeah, cut and paste like thing that he applies to each album he does. Of course he has his own style, but he's very creative with it. Now it kind of maybe goes back to what we were talking about, how sometimes you have that time to breathe and you can insert a bit more creativity and
And he 100% understood that we wanted the record to land between 1980 and 1985 as
Right.
far as the sound. It needed to land right in there where the music, heavy metal was still rock and roll was turning into heavy metal. And
Sure.
that to me is the sweet spot, and that's what Savage Master's kind of always been about, is this certain era of sound. Not to be a retro band, because I don't really think we're a retro band, even though
No.
we do play in this style. Uh, he really understood that concept. Like some guys, you would be at the mercy of whoever you had mix it, what they knew,
Mhm.
what
Hmm.
might come out of them creatively in the mixing. And this guy, he just knew. His band Summerlands, Eternal Champion. You've heard these bands;
Of
they're
course.
great. And they all have these distinct sounds to the albums that are different. I think he just worked with King Diamond. Um, that kind of thing, having that kind of guy who also trust and respect working on it, who's inputting creativity that's incredible. It was a perfect storm for us to make the record that we made this time.
For sure. Now, when you say that it was a couple of months before getting back anything, are you are I'm like super impatient when it comes to
Oh
stuff
man, it
like
was
this.
hard, so
I'm
hard.
always like, come on, man, you got a new mix? Come on, man, you got a new
So
mix?
I knew not to do that with him. I'd already been warned it could take a while. He told me personally, he was like a friend. I think a friend of his, one of one of the Eternal Champion guys, had passed during
Yes.
this time period. He was also very busy with several other records, and he had already warned me that, hey, it's going to be a little while. I'm going to work on this over a period of time, and I'll send you some mixes. So I guess going into it, I knew that it wasn't going to be a normal mixing situation.
Yeah.
And he sent us some pieces here and there
Yeah. Yeah.
to listen to, which was also kind of like a bit mind melting because sometimes they're incomplete mixes. He'd send the whole album over of what he'd been working on, and so some things were worked out and some songs weren't completely worked out. So you'd be like,
Oh
"What's even
wow.
happening?" I don't know. Like some of them had weird fades, some of them didn't have fades. Sometimes he'd added backwards fading, weird stuff, and he's just
Oh wow.
creatively playing with it. So from the very first mix I got from him to the very last is quite a depth of difference. It really is. And maybe someday we'll release some of those other mixes,
Oh
because they're
hell
pretty
yeah.
cool too. But some songs he went really crazy and
Yeah.
I'd be like, well, I like it. Like, well, I'm going to dial it back. you
Definitely.
know? But his
Do you
touch on it was very important.
Yeah. And we were lucky that we were able to work with him because he's extremely busy.
Yeah, he's very
Sure.
busy.
Oh yeah. I
Luckily,
mean,
we were.
not only with the bands that he's in, but the
Yeah,
job too. Yeah.
Yeah, and luckily we're friends with Arthur, and we've known him for quite some time. We played with Eternal Champion before, and we're buds with him, so he got us in there, Or I don't know if we would have been able to get in from the outside.
Sure. Absolutely. So when you get new mixes, this is something that I do, and I wonder if it transcends to other musicians as well. Do you get the moment when you're listening to a mix of your own and you're like, is this me?
Right.
That it like
Definitely.
blows you away. That it's like, did I play on this? Or
Oh man, the first of the final mixes he gave me, I was like, "Is this us?" Sounds great. This is wild. Yeah. So I can relate to that definitely.
sure.
Sometimes when you get mixes back, also there's that panic of like, "Oh no, oh God, what do we got? What do we
Yeah.
got our hands? We got to fix this."
Do you ever have that, Stacy?
Yeah, somewhat. I don't know. I feel it's really hard. Takes me a while to get just like used to my own voice and stuff. Like I
Sure.
don't know. I just think it's a weird head trip to hear your own voice on
He doesn't
record.
Well,
usually participate much in the mixes
Well, I can hear
I
it too much.
understand.
because of those
You know,
reasons.
like yeah, you
I
just get in
get
your
it.
head.
Hey, I'm a
Yeah.
vocalist in a band. I get it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a weird
um,
thing.
I'm lucky because I'm just a bass player, so my part's kind of in the background. As long as I don't do anything too erroneous, no one's gonna notice.
dude,
Uh,
you had the picture over the weekend from Hell's Heroes where you just have the fucking bass upside down and you're just like, "Rah,"
Yeah.
like this. And I'm like, don't kill the aria. Because I love that bass. When I first saw you play it, I was like, holy shit, that's an awesome bass.
right on. Yeah,
But
it's cool.
one of the things I noticed, and I have continually noticed, and this is obviously because of how we mature as people, kind of. But as we get older, um, how much more you have changed vocally, Stacy, from Mask of the Devil to now. And it's like, I think it's amazing how you've constantly went out and reinvented what you're doing in the album process. And like, do you have any tips or any kind of like suggestions for any singers out there today that would be able to, to put it to them how you do your thing?
Yeah. The one I think really important, most important thing with this, about this album with my vocals is that we uh we approached it a little bit differently. We made several demos and before we went into the studio,
Full album demos.
full album demos. Like we really
Nice.
nailed it down and refined it. And so a lot of uh ways to preserve your vocal cords and to get the most out of your voice is just knowing it really well. Like that's a huge thing because you're not sliding into a note or unsure, like uncertainty or like your mental state has a lot to do with your vocals and how you hit it.
And you don't have to repeat things in the studio.
Yeah, and you don't have to repeat things as often in the
It's so
studio
rehearsed.
because your voice is a finite resource in the studio.
Sure.
And we actually also the way we tracked was a bit different. In the past, we've tracked all the instruments, and then it's like, okay, we only have this much time left. You got to do all the vocals, and that's really hard on your voice,
Yep.
and stressful too, which is also not good for your voice.
We
But
tracked vocals from like the second we had guitars on, she could do vocals.
and I think
Sure.
that some of that was I don't know if that was all your idea or Dan's idea or what I
We wanted to do it and facilitated it.
yeah,
Like,
Dan
or we
facilitated
could
it.
just go from one thing to the other. I could also go do bass pieces. Like again, if the guitar players got tired or the drummer's tired that day and we've got drums on stuff, we could do some vocals. We could do this as we built the whole thing.
Yeah. And
Sure.
and they were also Dan and Kristen, his wife, were very hospitable. So anytime I needed to take a break on the vocals, I could do that because you just get worn down. But another thing, like just like in general, in the last year, I knew nothing about and just learned about is vocal cool downs because vocal warm ups is like a thing
Mm-hmm.
everybody seems to know about. But vocal cool downs, it's like after a show, I get this like it seems like everything's just real tight in your throat, or and
Oh yeah.
so the cool downs are like magic. They relieve a lot of the swelling in the vocal cords, and
You're doing that every night.
I've been doing it every night. Last August, we toured with Haunt. We had 11 shows in a row with no day off. I did not lose my voice, and that is like a milestone for me.
Yeah, that's the first.
It used to be like on the first tours we did, I'd start losing my voice in like 3 days, but I could still sing, but
It wasn't
it
But
wasn't
the
the
damage that
same.
you can do at that point
Yeah.
is
Sometimes you can't talk, but you can still sing. It's kind of weird, but
Interesting she mentions doing that because she would be doing these vocal cool downs when we got home from the studio, but where we were staying was in an abandoned gas station.
oh yeah, yeah,
No joke.
yeah, yeah,
Wow.
Nick knew a guy that had an abandoned gas station / garage, and that helped us avoid paying for hotels for the whole week, which
yeah,
was great.
Sure.
But on the other hand, we had to stay in an abandoned garage,
yeah,
which was
But,
pretty interesting.
but I mean, that's the thing where legends come from, and who knows? I mean, maybe it'll be a song on the next album or something.
Yeah, but another thing
Staying
about
into
that though,
a haunted fucking gas station.
one cool thing, Mark, that allotted us was we had this space to when we came out of the studio, like if I had an idea or me and Nick needed to speak about something that was going to be recorded or worked on that day or that we worked on, we could just pick up guitars and go over it right there. It wasn't like you're in a hotel where there's like a noise thing. We could
Sure.
work it out. We practiced in there we had an upcoming tour at
yeah,
the time. We practiced in there for that tour during that week. And we could just work it out right there. I could say, Nick, I've got this idea. What if we did this one for this one tomorrow? And we could bang it out right there without having to worry about going back to the studio or being quiet or anything like that. That
yeah. That was
contributed
really
to the
good.
creativity.
Yeah.
Even though we were sleeping in an abandoned gas station that seemed somewhat like dead rats, I'll be honest with you.
Oh wow.
It really did. It really did. There's a
Ugh.
giant smoker in there too, which is even weirder.
There was a what?
Extra little flavor. A big, I guess, a full pig smoker.
Yeah,
Oh
it was
wow.
huge. Yeah,
Holy
yeah.
shit. on with the tour in the UK. We're coming back. What's going on for the rest of 25?
After the EU tour, we'll come back
That you
here,
can announce.
and like within days from that tour, we'll be out in the US on the East Coast with this band Night.
Yeah,
NIT.
absolutely.
Amazing band.
I
And
love them.
we'll do like a couple weeks on the East Coast with them. That's the
Yeah,
next thing. And then
going to be
there's some other
playing
things
in
I can't.
Indianapolis at Black Circle and at Lexington at
That's
the Green
right. That's
Lantern.
right.
Yep.
It'll be
Hell
great.
yeah.
It'll be very fun.
Super rad dudes. Been a fan of them since of hearing of them. Scott obviously in High Spirits
Mhm.
Yeah.
also.
Scott's an old friend.
Fan.
Yeah.
You know, just totally awesome people.
They knock it out for sure. We're really looking forward to that one.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And you know, they're kind of for a tour package, that's a pretty cool package with you all, Savage Master and Night, because I think complementary, you know, they've kind of got the same musical style, and they both and you both range on kind of extreme vocal patterns. You know, they're more of like a blackened thrash vocal, I think.
Mhm.
Shades of Hellwolf from you know, the Rest in Power Black Knife band.
Right.
But yeah, love those guys. And then what are we going back? We doing another US tour in the fall, or
There's
going back
two
to
things
Europe?
planned out for the fall. The US doesn't figure into it yet. We're kind of waiting on this one thing to be confirmed before we move on another thing. It's one of those I can't really come out with it.
Because
It's
you all are playing
another.
Keep It True, are you not?
Not this time. We
Not
just
this.
did
You
Keep It
played it
True
last
Rising
year.
last time, yeah,
Last year,
which was
yes.
incredible.
Yeah.
Shout out to Oliver for having us on Keep It
Oh,
True
it's
Rising.
incredible. Yeah.
Yes,
Oliver's the man.
absolute shout out. He's
Uh,
total badass. Love
we've got
that.
some
Love
stuff.
the shows that he's been doing.
Oh yeah,
Oh, yeah.
the dude's the best. Yeah. We've got some other stuff in the works. If that works out, we'll do that, and then probably another U.S. jaunt, hopefully, West Coast to support this album, and that'll be it for the year. But there's a couple things in the works I can't bring out yet.
Sure. Yeah, no,
You know how it
absolutely.
goes. But the fall
Oh
looks
yeah,
pretty
you've
good.
gotta it's like wishing things into existence and talking
Yeah.
about them, and then they don't happen, and then
I
you're
always
bummed
feel like
out.
if I speak it out loud, it won't happen. I always feel like that. I don't know
Sure.
why, but I've always had that paranoia. Like as soon as it's confirmed, I'll announce it. You know.
No, I totally get it. So I want to go ahead and switch over to Derailed here. Derailed is a little bit different than the last time you were here, because we didn't have it. We had a
Okay.
version of it. But what Derailed is some random questions about you all as people, because you know we're all people. You know, we all do things. We were talking before we started about Masters of the Universe toys, and the fucking awesome 10-inch carded Beast Man. Is it still sitting beside
That's
you?
right.
It's
It
still
is.
sitting beside you. Show it off. Show it off. It's the fucking Beast Man. Dude. Wait, he doesn't have his chest armor on.
It's all behind him
Oh,
in here. So you got to open him to make it happen. Look at the back of that card. Oh,
dude.
isn't that beautiful?
Dude, could you imagine a fucking battle cat that size?
I know. Yeah, I hear you. Wish I had them all.
Yeah. The Mondo figures are fucking awesome. The 12-inch,
Yeah, man.
like fully
That's crazy, but
posable.
that's so far out of like what I'm willing to pay for something. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
they're like $250 a piece.
Yeah, I'm a
And
cheapskate.
I mean, you know, Jerry Hyonis, Wormwalk.
Yeah.
He is a collector of those things. And dude, it's like he posts them on fucking Instagram and shit. And I'm like, dude, these are so awesome.
They're incredible, man.
I mean,
That's quality work.
You almost can't even afford these anymore.
I know. That's so true. That's true. I bought a ton of the Origins as they came out, but that even that got ridiculous once it went to like the mail order ones, you know.
Sure. Yeah, I'm not a fan of that. And now they're doing it. Now it's they're redoing Club Grayskull, where you pay a fucking subscription fee to get exclusive rights.
To whatever they send you, I guess, right?
Yeah, right. So this is Derailed. Derailed are some random questions about you all as people.
All right.
just fucking because we do it. Is there a combination of food that you like that other people would think would be weird?
A combination? I don't think so.
Like peanut
I think
butter and chili.
all food all the time.
I can name a few.
Combination?
I like some weird shit.
You,
Yeah. When I was in maybe middle school, one of my friends turned me on to peanut butter and mustard. It tastes like pistachios.
Oh, this is
It's
crazy.
good.
It's
Those
crazy
are my
that you say
favorites.
that because when I was a kid, I used to enjoy a peanut butter sandwich with mustard and lettuce on it. I
whoa,
love
I
that
don't know
when I was a
about,
kid. I love that when I was a kid. So yeah,
that's
the peanut butter and
crazy.
mustard, that is pretty good actually.
and
So
I like
yeah,
anchovies on pizza. So
I am not an anchovy
yeah.
fan.
And I
Just
put
I don't like
pineapple on pizza.
sardines either.
Yeah.
I'm not a sardine fan, and like, no, my dad
Yeah.
No,
loved them,
can't
like
do it.
in mustard sauce. Ugh.
Yeah. I used to pretend I liked them because my grandfather liked them. And I'd
Oh,
suffer them down like, oh no, you're a great grandpa.
but
Yeah.
my grandpa had a sandwich kind of like that too. His was peanut butter, bologna, and mayonnaise,
Oh wow. That's
and
incredible.
it is like not like Miracle Whip, but like mayo,
Mayonnaise. Yeah.
and it's
Yeah.
fucking good. It's
A
amazing.
friend of mine turned me on to a sauce that's peanut butter, mayo, and caramelized onions mixed together.
Holy shit.
Amazing.
It sounds
Amazing.
good.
It's actually incredible. But when you hear about it, you think, I don't know, peanut butter, mayonnaise, and onions. Like, I don't know. But it's very good. Very good.
Oh,
Hell yeah. What about on the road? Like when you all are on the road, obviously food is a thing because
Yeah,
sometimes you don't make a lot of money at shows. Sometimes,
absolutely.
sometimes you're doing just what is it? The Midwest hospitality and shows is somebody will offer you a free meal for a vinyl.
Oh,
oh,
that's not. I would probably take that.
yeah.
um, how do you all cope with like stuff like that on the road, like making sure
Um,
you all eat and are taken care of?
I'm huge on personally for up until the last year or so, I had a pretty special diet because of some conditions I have, which are different now. But so I'm big on having my own snacks, my own food on board. I'll have a backpack that has a ton of crackers, nuts, sodas, all kinds of. We also keep a cooler all the time, so there's lots of water and drinks. Because you don't, if you tour very much, you're going to realize that spending money in the gas station is the number one way to screw yourself. You know
Yep,
what I mean?
because it's all
You're
fucking
not gonna make
expensive.
a penny. You're gonna break yourself, and you're gonna be angry about it at the end of the tour. You know what I mean? So if you just do yourself a favor and go to like a Dollar Tree or Walmart or something before you go out and get some curated snacks, that'll really save you a lot of money. And also, whenever there's no food provided that day, or you're in a place where there's no food around, you have food.
Sure.
That's one thing that we all pretty much are involved in. Um, but anymore, I think we make a point of getting food that day on the way in, usually, at least a lunch. So everybody's had at least a meal that day. That's
Right.
something that we almost always do. Um, in the States, it's hard because they don't provide much. You're lucky when you're in Europe because they do feed you
Yeah,
at the clubs, and that changes everything. It changes your pocketbook big time.
absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
And one of the things like playing at Legions last year for me was the catering
Mm,
that Bob puts out for
yeah,
the bands. And I
he
think
knows.
that
He knows
Yeah.
what's up.
That's what's
he
up.
does. Uh so yeah,
Shout out
totally
to Bob big time too.
Yeah.
yeah.
Bob has helped
Bob,
us immensely along the way. He's always been championed us and helped us so many times. I can't explain to you how what a great guy he is, and also what a good friend. I love this dude.
Yeah.
oh yeah.
We always get together and have the deepest movie chats,
Oh
nerdiest, deepest movie chats. I'd hate to be a fly on the wall for that. You know.
no, absolutely. I would love that needs to be a fucking podcast. Is Adam and Bob at the movies?
Oh man, and he's got deep knowledge too. He's no joker. He knows.
Speaking of movies, Speaking of movies, the fucked up Danzig film that we all
Oh,
went to
yeah.
see in the theater.
Yeah.
That's right. We were together.
Death Rider
Oh
and
my
the House
God.
of Vampires, or whatever
Yeah,
the fuck
man.
it was.
That was amazing.
Man, my favorite memory, I always like to tell people about this. I often say this because I like those Danzig movies. A lot of people hate them, but I
Oh no,
appreciate
they're
them.
great.
I'm a big fan of Jean Roland and Jess Franco and just low budget cinema in general. And so I thought those really hit the mark for me. There's nudity and violence, and it's very ridiculous,
Sure.
cartoonish. And I really appreciate that element. But the one thing I always tell about, as you're saying, Mark, you went with us to see that
Yeah.
Danzig movie, Death Rider in the House of Vampires, right?
Yeah.
Uh, or I think that's the title. Uh,
If this
and
is
we're
the
watching
story
the
that I
movie.
think you're about to tell, I think I tell
Maybe.
this same story to
Oh,
everybody.
we're sitting in the theater and there's only like us and one other guy in there.
Yeah.
And if you remember, and it's an older black gentleman. He's sitting in the very back, and he clearly came there thinking this is a regular Western, you know, or maybe just a horror movie. I don't know what he was thinking, but we're watching the movie, and all kinds of things have already transpired, and then Danzig finally makes his appearance. I don't know if you remember. This might be what you're thinking. Danzig finally makes his appearance as Bad Bathory, which is one of the cheesier moments of the film. I mean, it is. Shout out to Danzig, dude. I love your movies and your music. Don't get me wrong, but it's a very cheesy movie. Uh, and this guy stands up. He's like, "I've had enough of this shit," and he walks out right.
Oh my
He
God.
kind of sums that whole thing up.
Yes.
You're either there for the ride or you're not.
That one, I always tell that because that's hilarious. And the one where we came out of the theater and it's like, this is like a porno without the sex.
Yeah, it was. It had that vibe.
It's like a 70s porno without the sex.
It's like you watched Planet of the Playmates or something.
Oh my God.
Playmate of the Apes. That's what I'm. Playmate
Playmate
of
of
the
the
Apes.
Apes.
Yeah. Lord of the G Strings.
Um, have you ever seen a ghost?
No, I don't think so. No, I have memories from when I was a kid where I think I saw ghosts, but my mom is very wrapped up in supernatural kind of stuff, and I feel like that's probably just a implanted hallucination on my part because in my adult life I've never seen anything like that at all. Personally,
Sure.
I would
Shout
love
out to
to.
Linda, by the way.
That's
Yeah,
a
she's
shout
awesome.
out to Linda Neal.
She is awesome. I've
A
met
legend.
the mother of
That's
Adam
right.
Neal.
Absolute legend she is.
She is a legend. What about you, Stacy? Have you ever seen a ghost?
I have not. No.
No.
I wanted to ever since I was a kid, but I never have.
I've seen weird things. I've had a lot
Yeah.
of weird experiences, but
Uh-huh.
I always get like the thing that you see in the corner of your eye,
Yeah.
and you
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
the shit that
Mhm.
I
Bruce
see
Dickinson
cats out of
sings
the
about.
corner of my eye all the time.
Cats as well. I see cats.
We have a cat, so I think
Yeah.
we just tend to everything looks like a
Now,
cat.
I've not seen like a full ghost, but I will say, and I don't believe in the supernatural generally, but when I was
Wait
a
a minute.
kid, and
Really?
this may be the influence as well. I
Hang
really
on a
don't.
second. Hang on a second. Mask of the Devil. I'm going
Now,
through the
I
album,
like the supernatural a lot,
but
but I don't actually believe
I'm
it
just
to be real.
wait a
Like many
second.
things.
Going through the albums here.
But,
I don't believe
but
in
I do
supernatural.
remember, and this might be my mom's influence. At the house I lived in as a kid was an old two-story farmhouse in the middle of nowhere. That's how I grew up in Turnersville, Kentucky. Population 12, I like to say, because that's all the people live there. Um, so I was out in a very rural area as a kid in a very old house, and I do remember distinctly thinking there was a presence in the house multiple times as a kid. Now I stayed there a lot alone. I was a latchkey kid. Maybe you can relate to that. I don't know.
Sure.
Uh, but I was alone in the house for probably 6 to 8 hours a day at night because my mom
Right.
worked nights. My dad was MIA a lot. And I would be there alone after school. It would get dark in the house. And often I would feel a presence in the house that wasn't my own. Now, I don't know if I was imagining this or not, But I had felt it one other time, and I told this story recently on another interview. But I used to watch my grandmother, my great grandmother, and she had pretty serious dementia by the time I was watching her.
Mhm.
She was bedridden for the most part, and she lived in an old farmhouse out in Green River, Kentucky, about not Green River, but Dix River, Kentucky, out in that area around Dix River, and Hubble's what it's called. And she lived out there by herself basically, even though the family was all in and out. Um, and so I would have to watch her sometimes. It's an old, really old farmhouse, over 100 years old, rickety. The whole haunted house vibe was through the roof
Sure.
with this place. It was one of those places. But the other time that I really felt this presence is one time when I was watching her. It was in the middle of the night and it was storming. I sleep in the same room as she does because obviously I have to watch her, and she can't get out of bed or whatever. It's trouble. Rest in peace. And she shoots up in the bed, straight up in the bed, and she says, "John, there's someone rolling marbles down the steps." And I felt it run through me then, big
Holy
time.
shit, dude.
I could
That's
feel it.
wild.
And I said, "Oh, Grandma, no, it's me. It's Adam. No, John's not here. John was her uh, dead husband."
Oh, wow.
So I think she was seeing him along with this other hallucination, because she has dementia and stuff. And so I comfort her and I say, "No, Grandma, blah blah blah. It's still storming out pretty heavy. We don't have electricity. It's coming on and off and stuff like that. It's the whole movie, I swear." And so we lay back down. She finally subsides. She lays back down. I'm laying down for maybe 10 minutes. She shoots right back up in the bed and she says, "John, someone's rolling marbles down the stairs." Oh, I could feel it again, man. It came over me. I was honestly kind of scared. I'll be honest with you. It got me.
Dude,
And
that shit's freaky.
I'll go check it out, Grandma. And I go out to the hallway and Mark, there's a marble at the bottom of the stairs.
That's a good
See
one.
ya.
That's all I got. Saw no ghosts, nothing like that. But the presence was there.
Ah, dude. That's some crazy
It
shit. Well,
was
I
pretty good.
used to I was in a band that used to practice in an old fucking abandoned farmhouse. That it was the farmhouse that the family had years ago, and then once their grandparents had passed away, nobody else had lived in the house, and then it just kind of started to dilapidate. And there was some creepy shit that when we recorded in that place that was fucking weird.
Yeah. An
Like
old house, there's something about an old house, man.
old house on the farm, man. I don't know if it was
Yeah.
if we were conjuring fucking spirits of fucking Leatherface or what, man. Like,
Well, you never know in those really old houses. You never know what happened there,
yeah,
The
exactly.
creepiest place I remember going to was in Salem, Massachusetts, and some of those houses,
Oh, the witch houses.
the actual
Oh
houses
yeah.
that the people lived in at the
The
time.
the vibe of that is definitely dark.
It's
You feel
crazy.
some kind of overwhelming pressure to it. I don't
Unease or
know.
something. Yeah.
Unease.
I
Yeah.
seriously I seriously had an Indiana white trash moment there for a second. When you said Salem, I was immediately interjected Indiana because it's full of fucking weird rednecks.
That can be creepy too.
I'm sure there's plenty of creepy places in Salem, Indiana.
I think there's nothing creepier than like being out in the middle of nowhere where no one would ever know if something happened to you,
Yeah.
you know?
That's funny that you mentioned that because joining Ice Howl back in 2023, we practiced 2 hours. Is 2 hours away from my house in the middle of Indiana. Okay. And just like not being super familiar with the area for like the first few drives up there, it's like, especially like going through like thunderstorm season and seeing like these weird fucking landmarks that you're not used to. That
Mhm.
can be
Yeah.
some creepy shit. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
especially touring, like going, highway rider, fucking, it's like going in Utah in the middle of the fucking night and seeing fucking
Oh, yeah.
headlights go off the fucking ramp for miles and miles and miles before you even get to the ramp. Fucking shit like that is weird as fuck.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Very strange out there. The
And that's
nighttime
just
brings a lot of weird feelings.
Yeah, it is. It's interesting.
Once, just to piggyback on this ghost thing, you might ask this question later. I'm not sure, but I didn't see a ghost, but I
I know what you're about
I
to
do
say.
believe I've seen a real cryptozoology creature,
A cryptid.
a cryptid in my life.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure that I've seen one. I'm not even joking. Like,
What did
I
you
was playing
see?
around a little bit with the ghost thing.
I drank way too much and I regret it so much because
This
Adam and John saw it, but I was like, a zombie.
is
I
back when
didn't
Stacy
see it.
drank quite a bit.
I drank way too much, and like I almost feel like that made me quit drinking because like
Miss Cryptid.
it's scripted.
We were driving back from Washington, D.C. We played a show with Deceased, and we left after the show to come on back home instead of
We're gonna take John to the airport.
taking John to the airport or something. So we're out somewhere out in like rural um,
Virginia, maybe?
Baltimore, maybe, or something like that. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Somewhere, maybe Pennsylvania. I'm not sure where we are at this point, but it's in a rural area of that eastern seaboard kind of area. And we're out in the middle of nowhere. And me and Larry were up front. This is back when Larry was still in the band. Uh,
Sure.
and John was in the back, and Stacy was passed out. And we had already stopped to take a leak, like in the middle of nowhere, like in some tiny little town that looked shut down. We pulled off and just pissed on the side of the road, and we get back on the road and we're going down the road maybe 5 miles and not even going that fast yet. This thing runs out in front of us, like a thing I've never seen in my life. A creature that I have trouble explaining. It looked like if you mixed a deer, a dog, and an orangutan. And it and it comes right out,
No,
right,
no,
runs
no,
right across,
no, no. Hang on.
loping like this.
No, no. Holy shit, dude. No, you're like fucking shitting me, right?
No, it comes running
No,
across the road
no,
like this.
dude, you are
And we
totally
almost hit
shitting
it.
me.
We almost hit it. And I swear, here's the weirdest part, Mark. It looks at us like this, like you see it look up, and it has like almost a human face. Like
Dude,
this
you are
weird human face
no,
goes,
like,
ooh.
dude, you
I'm
are
not even
fucking
joking.
kidding me. You are
And
fucking
then
shitting me right now.
it gets across the road and we can't see anymore. We slow down, we stop. We're like, oh, me and Larry are losing our minds. If you see Larry in real life, ask him about this. He will confirm
Dude,
this.
no, like, hang on. I'm gonna totally like this is totally real fucking moment here. This is what the show is about because I was driving home from fucking Madison, Indiana back in 2004 from a show up there and was out in like the backwoods of fucking like that part of Indiana
Yeah,
and saw something extremely similar to that.
really.
Yes.
That's impressive. And and I don't mess around with this stuff. Like I
No,
don't usually
dude, that's
believe in this
fucking
kind of
wild
stuff.
as shit. And
But
it
I
just
seen
fucking
it clear
went
as day. Yeah.
like it cleared the road in like 2 steps.
Yeah, it was like almost like a jumping. It almost
Uh-huh.
jumped over the road. But
Dude,
we
that's
could have hit it,
wild.
like close to hitting it, but didn't hit it. Looked right at me, man. It looked right at me
Dude,
with this
that is
weird
insane.
face. Oh, I could see it in my
That's
head right
weird.
now. And we went on about this for hours after that.
Yeah.
This stuff worked out.
Dude, we
Pretty
thought it
impressive.
was like we didn't know what the fuck it was because it was me and a fucking a keyboard player at the time.
That was probably the worst part is I don't know what it was at all. I couldn't figure out for the life of me what it was. We were all Googling
Yeah.
cryptids and other creatures from the area.
Tragic, but Adam doesn't make it up. And
No.
I was on the internet just trying my hardest to find anyone talking about anything like this at all.
Crazy.
See, where we were practicing at that time, that band that I was in, the old farmhouse band, that's what that was. And that was in that time period. And they had like a fucking crane migration, like to their lake that had never happened ever before. They had something like 800 or 900 pairs of fucking cranes that showed up. It was some kind of weird fucking thing, and we don't know, and nobody had ever seen that. We told them about it, and they're like, "What the fuck?"
Well,
So we think it
what
was
year do you
connected
think
to
it was
that.
that you saw this creature?
What?
What year do you think that was that you saw that?
Probably 2004, 2005.
Wow, I feel like ours was probably between 19,
2018 or 2019.
18 or 19 was when we seen ours.
Yeah.
That's
So
crazy.
maybe if someone watching has seen something similar, they can let us
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, please
Let us
do.
know. We're
Very
fucking
curious.
totally gonna
Or if around that area there's a famous cryptid, let us know as well.
Yeah.
Because I'm very curious.
Yeah, that's one of the things I like to do when going out and seeing other places, going to the cemeteries, exploring the local myths and stuff like that.
Now,
Um,
where me and Stacy live now, there's a cryptid myth down here in Junction City, Kentucky.
okay,
Um, and that's the Junction City Jank. That's what it's called. And this cryptid is pretty legendary. You can
really
hear it. There's some distinct things about it that I've heard. Apparently, around Junction City in this area, there's a cave system beneath the city. Now, I
okay.
don't know. I don't know how to access this cave. I've
That's
never
a pretty
seen it.
common thing for Kentucky.
Yeah, I think so. There's also a lot of water down here underneath the ground.
Sure.
But again, like I've never actually been in the cave or seen an interest to this cave. But the legend tells that at night, after a heavy rain in the fall, you'll hear a loud screaming, like or something like that, like pterodactyl type screaming. And that's supposed to be this very furry man-like creature laying its egg.
Interesting.
And it lays a hairy egg, an egg covered in hair. And that's when you hear it screaming, that's when it's laying its egg. That's when another jank is being born. And apparently it lives on trash and small cats, is what I've heard. Like that's what people say about it. But
I'm
at
gonna
night,
have
I've
to.
heard
We're
the
gonna have to
scream, and
put a
Stacy's
link
heard
to
the scream
this.
too. I've heard the scream.
Is this on Wikipedia?
I've only heard it around here. I don't think it's a documented cryptid. People have said it.
Um,
The Junction City Jank. It's a
interesting.
furry Sasquatch type creature that lays a furry egg while it screams.
Interesting.
Very
I'll
cool.
have
Yeah.
to check it out. It's
I've
just
been
like
looking for it and I haven't been able to find it.
The Appalachia demons that you're not supposed to mention by name.
Oh,
Uh, if you know what I'm talking about, because
I don't
they're
think I
bringers
do.
of bad luck.
I don't
Uh,
think I know about that, but don't mention their names.
no, it starts with an H and
Okay.
is a very popular contraction that people use. That's not a real
Okay.
word.
Oh, wow.
If
All
you
right.
H ain't. Say it
Okay.
again.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. I'm
Uh,
familiar with that situation, some of that.
yeah, they're definitely an interesting thing. Shout out to the boys out in Kiarn, the band.
Okay.
Shout out to them because they sing about that stuff in the
Oh,
Kiarn
that's
monster
fantastic. Yeah.
of the
I thought about hatching a jank song at some point
dude. Why
or
not
going on a jank hunt. Yeah.
Jank Hunt?
Yeah, jank hunt. You got to do it in fall when it's
This is
raining.
Janko Unchained over here.
There
That's the next rock and roll outlaw album.
we go.
Janko Unchained. um, if you could design your own planet, what would the environment be like?
What would the environment be? It'd be fall 24/7 all year round. The leaves
Every
would
day
fall
is
off every day and
Halloween.
new leaves would grow the next year. There'd be leaves everywhere.
You better find a way. That's your power source somehow. You just fucking
That's
burn the
right.
old,
That's our
burn the
fuel.
old
That'll be
dead
our fuel,
leaves.
the leaves. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We can eat them and they fuel our cars.
There you go. Yeah, fall time would be awesome. Every day is Halloween. It'd be
What
like
about you,
living in
Stacey?
Halloween land. I would say I'd have to have a fucking pretty awesome metal scene.
Yeah,
Well, sure.
for sure.
Absolutely. A good music scene. Maybe there's no Spotify there.
Yeah. And and
Um,
and, and artists actually get paid.
that's right. There's money to be made there from music. Definitely. There's a great theater there that shows nothing but horror movies 24/7.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that from the greatest era of horror of
That's
all
right.
of it,
And there's a store that has snuff at some point. Something, as long as they got snuff there, I'll be happy.
Before we go, I have one more question. But as always, links, they're listed below. So please give likes, shares, and follows, do all the things and all this stuff. Go see them on tour, whether you're in the UK listening, whether you're in the US listening. They play shows. They actually go out and bust their fucking ass and play shows to support these fucking awesome albums that they have put out over the last, holy shit, almost 14 years now?
No, it's more like 11 years.
Let's see. Let's
11?
technically
That's about
the
2012,
for
2013.
albums, I think it's 10 years. For the band, it's 12, I think.
Okay.
Right at 12.
Back in starting many years ago. You all have anything else you would like to promote or shout out today?
And not really. The album comes out March 28th. Get that. Check it out on streaming. It'll be out on streaming. It'll be available. It's available pre-order right now from Shadow Kingdom and from our Bandcamp. That's about go watch the Devil Rock video.
Yeah.
That's all I can tell you.
Yeah.
And catch us on the road. We'll be out there. I guarantee you we'll be at some town close to whoever you are, wherever you are, soon enough.
Absolutely. And I will be definitely sharing the tour packages on the Metal Forge pages. I already have been sharing those. They're awesome shows coming up. Again, yeah, the Devil Rock video, super fucking rad. Just that's the other thing that you all have always have like done extremely well is your videos. From everything back from the original videos back in the day, even the stuff that is live shot by other people like Punk Rick, like those videos,
shout out to Punk Rick.
Yeah,
that guy has documented so many incredible bands and shows over the years. He's been going for 20 plus years, I think, maybe more than that. Since the 90s he's been shooting stuff. I mean,
and yeah,
such dedication.
His YouTube channel is fucking amazing.
And a great guy too. I mean, a great guy
for sure. But yeah, I mean, I love the videos. I totally do, because they're so awesome.
Thank you, man. It's an important part of it, I think.
I didn't have my next question queued up. See, I'm totally unprofessional over here. So on our way out today, again, Adam, Stacy, thank you all so fucking much. I love you all. It has been awesome. My last question is, are you all related to anybody historically famous or anything like that?
To my knowledge, no.
Like you're not. I mean, you're not related to Benjamin Franklin or.
I've never had like a what are those things called, the genealogy or like
23.
Oh, 40, oh yeah. You
Sorry,
did.
You cut out, Adam. What?
The accusations of murders, not the ones I did.
Hey, hang on. You cut out. You cut out a little bit. I didn't hear
That's
all
good.
that.
Right.
That's good. That's the point out.
I got the gist of it. I'm a good lip reader, but
I would love to do one of those and see if I have any like things. Same as
Yeah, I haven't done one either.
To my knowledge, no, I don't think so.
Stacy's gonna find out she's related to Dio or something.
It's fun. If you grew up in the South, Kentucky's not exactly the South. It's like the penthouse of the South or something. It's like on top. It's still got all the same screwy ideas, but it's not quite Southern. I feel like if you grew up around here from the time period me and you especially are from, Mark, and her too, you probably heard stories that your family goes back to the first people that came here to America. They were on the Mayflower or something like that. Also add that into like you're some giant portion of American Indian. There's some portion of you that's American Indian and all this stuff. Not that I believe any of that stuff, but if you're born around here, you've heard that about yourself,
yes,
bro.
Absolutely. So that is definitely a Kentucky, Indiana thing.
Like, big time,
part
man.
Cherokee.
Oh, yeah. They say it in Tennessee too.
It'll be a style of Indian that didn't even live here. You know what I mean?
Yes.
But it just happens to be the only catchphrase name of American Indian they know.
Yes.
So it would probably be beneficial for all Kentuckians to do those genealogies. But as far as I know,
the unfortunate thing for most of those kids. I probably shouldn't throw shade like I'm going to throw to Kentucky, because Indiana and Kentucky always throw shade on each other when it comes to this.
That's right.
Yeah.
And I'm sure they do it with Tennessee too. but it's like, you could always go over in 23 and me is like everybody's going to be brother and sister and cousin
That's right.
Yeah.
in Kentucky,
Yeah.
But I mean, that's
All
just
your
the way
romantic
we
interests are from your family tree.
No.
Our
But
Trump
hey,
grows
Mark, I
straight.
grew up in a rural area like that. That's probably possible. There were
No,
so few people that were living in their area that's probably possible if you look back far enough.
oh sure, no, absolutely. Um, I mean, that's just how it is. I think we used to have like my grandmother had done like Daughters of the American Revolution, like a family tree.
Yeah.
I had a house fire when I was a kid and we lost it in that, but it went all the way back to like she had family that were related to William Penn,
Oh wow,
No.
which was
that's
totally
impressive.
cool.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that would actually make sense for me in some ways because my family is definitely one of the Neal family over in Lincoln County, Kentucky, was definitely one of the older families there. And that that county is the second, I think, first or second county of Kentucky ever.
Right.
So these people would be way back there,
Sure.
possibly linked to the very first settlers. It's possible. Um, I wonder. Who
That's
knows?
like my cousins in like LaRue County where like E Town and shit is.
Mhm.
Is that LaRue? Something like that. It's wherever
Something
E
like that. Yeah.
Town's in.
Yeah.
That they go back into there into like the 1700s.
Yeah. That's
Crazy
crazy.
shit.
Crazy.
And it's like, wow. Anyway, fuck all that genealogy talk. We're looking to the future, not the fucking past. Yeah. Do you all have anything else you all want to tell anybody out there today that like tells everybody like, give them some good advice?
Hey, my only advice is be yourself.
Yeah. Be
Always be true to yourself. Be you. Don't ever worry about what someone else thinks about what you're doing or who you are. Be you 100%. That's the first compromise you can make in life is to care about what someone else thinks about what you're doing or how you're being. Be you always. Because there's only one you and there's only one life and it's yours.
Yeah, and
That's
I'd add to
fucking
that,
right.
question things you hear before you spread them on.
That's right. You don't have to just believe everything. Look,
Yeah.
think about things, explore the world, explore your mind, explore life. There's so much out there to everything.
And we have a mutual friend. I will leave him nameless until after the interview, because I don't want to like shut him down or anything, give him a complex.
Yeah.
Because I've known him for a long time. I love him to death. But he hasn't watched Beetlejuice 2 yet because he watched the Cinema Sins on it. And he said, it's going to suck. It's going to suck. I'm like, dude, form your own fucking opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Never listen to anybody else. I mean,
Yeah.
there's people whose opinions I respect, I'm not saying that.
But you can always disagree with them.
Especially with
Exactly.
movies. There's definitely people out there that they might say this movie's good, and I might go, well, this guy said it's good. I'm definitely checking it out. That's possible. I'm not saying
Yeah.
don't, watch those kind of medias or check that stuff out. But the fact is, the opinion is yours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got to see it to know.
Yeah.
Exactly. Fucking dudes. Thank you, Stacy. Thank you, Adam. I love you all to death. Before we go, here it is. Devil Rock.
Hey metalheads, you like tattoos? Of course you do. If you're in the Louisville, Kentucky area, come on over the bridge to Clarksville, Indiana, and get you some ink done at Ageless Art. If ink isn't your thing, they have a piercing studio as well. Visit agelessartclarksville.com to see some frequently asked questions, meet the staff. The shop is open Monday through Thursday, 12 to 8 p.m., Saturdays, 12 to 10 p.m., and Sundays, 12 to 6 p.m., all appointment-only spots. You can set up your appointments by phone at 812-283-1793 or email agelessarttattooandpiercing@gmail.com, and someone will get you set up for your first or your next tattoo or piercing.
Hey metalheads, after going to a rager, what's your ultimate go-to? Mine is totally pizza. So when Overload is playing, or I'm promoting the Metal Forge live showcases, or the big goddamn metal show, I go to Pizza Donisi. Pizza Donisi is gourmet artisan pizza from right here in Louisville, Kentucky. It features things like the pizza of the month, the sandwiches, and also vegetarian and vegan options, which is so totally fucking cool for all of it's awesome pizza. You definitely want to go. Hey, and also from time to time they do cannolis. Oh, so fucking good. You know what they said, man? Leave the gun, take the cannoli. Yeah, just like that in Godfather. They're located right next to the Mag Bar at 1396 South 2nd Street. So either stop in or call in at 502-213-0488. They're open till midnight. The witching hour.
Heineken, fuck that shit! Pabst Blue Ribbon!
Hey metalheads, you all hear me talk about Mag Bar all the time. It is the home to the Metal Forge live showcases and is an integral stop in the ultimate underground metal tour schedule. They obviously feature live music, but the Mag Bar also has daily specials like Pint and Slice Night on Tuesdays with Pizza Donisi. But they also do Bring Your Own Vinyl on Thursdays with DJ Kent Jackson, and Finer Things Sundays. Located right next to Pizza Donisi at 1398 South 2nd Street, open 3 p.m. to 4 a.m. 7 days a week. Get your asses out to the Mag Bar. Rock out. For 45 years in keeping Louisville weird, Electric Ladyland has been there for all your eccentricities. While they do offer the best smoking supplies out on the market today, there's a whole lot more to check out. From ashtrays and blacklight posters, to records, incense and burners, and items to stock your metaphysical supply. They're open from 10 to 10, 7 days a week. Located at 2325 Bardstown Road in Louisville, Kentucky, and at electricladyland420.com. Roll out. The year was 19... In 2017, one man's vision and passion for all things metal started out as a record store in his house. Years later, the fight against a mainstream empire continues as Shade Beast. An independent metal collective and online store based in Athens, Georgia, is the world's premier heavy metal brand for music heads that value authenticity over the mainstream acceptance. Featuring original t-shirts from some of the best underground artists, as well as stickers,
posters from the Shade Beast Presents concert series. Unique, one-of-a-kind collectibles and small curated selection of vinyl and cassettes from the masters old and new. Visit shadebeast.com and enter promo code SithLord for free domestic shipping on your first order, whether you're a new customer or returning. And be sure to join the Shade Beast social groups on Facebook and the interwebs to keep up with the new release announcements and talk all things metal and Star Wars. You'll never find a more wretched hive of scum and filth.
Welcome to the night. You think you know Night Demon? Then the Night Demon Heavy Metal Podcast is for you. Step into the darkness as we peel back the curtain to give you an unprecedented, all-access look into the mind and the heart of the demon. We're talking band history, song analysis, studio anecdotes, stories from the road. It's everything a diehard Night Demon fan could want and more. This is the only place to learn the inside scoop, the deep dive trivia, the untold tales from the band members themselves and those closest to the Night Demon story. Need more? The sacred Night Demon Crypt will be pried open to reveal demo recordings that have never before seen the light of day, all with in-depth commentary by the band and the people who were there for the writing and recording process. This is a gold mine, a treasure trove of all things Night Demon. Head over to nightdemon.net or wherever you listen to podcasts.
Since 2013, there has been a calling from the underground, from the graves of all those unholy, and they decided to make a zine to talk about all of this. Soul Grinder Zine! An independent metal zine to keep you informed on all things metal and horror from the underground. Available in both print and digital formats, they're bringing you the best interviews and reviews out there today. Not only do they do the zine, but they also do compilation CDs. Check them out at facebook.com/soulgrinder.zine and start your subscription now. Hey everybody, let me tell you about the new sponsor to the Metal Forge, Unchained Tapes. They're an independent Pennsylvania tape label. They focus on extreme metal and punk with a killer approach to the tape scene. Visit their web store at unchainedtapes.bigcartel.com now to get your fill of tapes. And for being a Metal Forge listener, enter the code METALFORGE10 at checkout to get a 10% discount on your total purchase. That's unchainedtapes.bigcartel.com.
What's up, Metal Forge fans? This is Alan Bishop, the alchemist of Indiana's Black Forest and head distiller at Spirits of French Lick. Do you find yourself drawn to the unexplained, fascinated by the Fortean, or enchanted by the paranormal? If the things that go bump in the night resonate in your mind, then tune into my brand new podcast, If You Have Ghosts, You Have Everything. Featuring first-hand accounts, collected stories, interviews, history, and speculation related to all things not of this world. Available now on Anchor, Spotify, Google, Amazon, and more. Set back, relax, and remember, if you have ghosts, you have everything.
Hey, let me tell you guys about Mercenary Press. They're an independent London label and distributor of all things metal. Mercenary Press delivers the goods from their own independent zine. Trust me, you're going to want to get in on that. To distributing various bands from all over the world, including Cramp from Spain and Sadistic Force from Texas. Visit mercenarypress.bigcartel.com to find out what all they have in stock and what you can order. And for Metal Forge listeners, enter code METALFORGE10 to receive a discount on your total purchase at mercenarypress.bigcartel.com. Check it out now.
Hey Metalheads, it's with great pleasure I get to tell you guys about a new sponsor to the Metal Forge, Ageless Art, New Albany. After 20 years of owning and operating Ageless Art in Clarksville, Indiana, Phil Garrett had a vision for a new type of tattoo studio. Something that is clean and modern, sleek, refined, inviting. And he's done just that with Ageless Art in New Albany. You can find it at 2736 Charlestown Road, New Albany, Indiana, 47150. Business hours are Monday through Saturday, 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. Sundays are 12 to 6. All sessions are appointment only, so give them a call and go get you some new ink. Or if it's your first time, go get your first one, baby.